Okay, let's be honest for a second here. Never decluttering again isn't practical. So let me start by saying that this is more of an intention than a rule I'll strive to live by. Having decluttered my whole life to move abroad over many, many months, it made me realize just how many things I held on to, how many things that held sentimentality, but also how many things I bought because I wasn't feeling great that day, or because I hadn't asserted to my family that I much prefer experiences over gifts. I felt guilty with every item I couldn't recycle, donate, or give to friends. I felt embarrassed by every gift I'd been given so generously that just sat on my shelf never to be used. As we move through life, things change. My body certainly has, my hobbies, my housemates, and the things they left behind. Some of us may have children, or pets, or other family members to care for, and with each of those life events inevitably come things. It's not practical to say, I will never declutter again. So what I am trying to say is that I want to never have to go through such a huge and time-consuming declutter because I hadn't spent the time addressing my overconsumption. To be honest, since moving and being on a strict budget, it's changed everything. What I buy matters, both in terms of its monetary value and the space it takes up in our home. I certainly enjoy organising and decluttering my space, but I'm hoping that I won't need to declutter so much in the future and simply focus on organisation. I have no idea if replanting those strawberries is going to work, but since the flowers were pushing off loads of different leaves and extra bulbs and things like that, it wasn't creating any flowers, so I thought there's no harm in taking some off and just seeing if we can replant them. So I've put a few in water and I've actually planted one into soil just to see if it will work. It's purely an experiment, but these are the kind of hobbies that you do when you don't want to buy new things and you're on a budget. I know that my composting system is far from perfect, but I want to try and make things like this work because we have to meet people where we're at. You know, I always suggest when it comes to minimalism, to sustainability, using what you have already first before even considering buying something new. So to give up on this budget method before it's even really begun would be a huge shame. I know it's not perfect. I know there are so many other things that I need to be doing to actually help that food break down. But I don't want to go out and give up on something like this and buy a new composting system or just even anything until I really understand what I'm working with and the temperatures and all that kind of stuff. I think it's really important to really give things a go before bringing new things into our lives. This is one of the biggest reasons why, since moving here, I haven't even thought about, do we have too much stuff? Will I need to declutter eventually? All that kind of stuff, because I've really tried to address my consumption and be incredibly mindful about the things that we're bringing into our home. Will we use this? How long will we use this for? Is this eventually going to be decluttered in the future? Of course, it's not easy when things are changing. I decluttered a lot before I moved to the US, and that is specifically why I never want to declutter again. Of course, it's going to be different depending on your circumstances. For example, my brother has 2 young children, and they're not always going to want to play with the toys that they have. They're going to eventually have to declutter those or sell them, or they've already sold some things on Facebook Marketplace. So they're being thrifty with it. They're making sure things go to a really good home. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with decluttering. Decluttering, as long as you're doing it sustainably and responsibly, it's a good way to clear your space or to sell things that are just sitting in your cupboard, and it's a good way to make some money or just to make sure things are being used. The reason I don't want to declutter ever again is because I know that if I am, it means something's gone wrong with my personal consumption. This is not a blanket statement that everyone should stop decluttering immediately, but it's more a reflection on the things that I've noticed about myself over the past couple of years, how my mental health has been and how that's impacted what I've bought and how much I've bought, and also where I'm at now. I just want to spend so much time outside with people, doing things that don't require purchasing things, and I want to focus on experiences this year. So that's why for me it's so important to think about turning the tap off rather than letting it stream in and just decluttering every few months or years. I know it's hard, especially when we compare ourselves to others, what they have and what they're able to buy, and I think a lot about my role in this too. To me, there are few things worse than feeling like I need something to make me feel better about myself, how I look, or the value I hold as a human being. But this year, I'm really trying to let that go. I want to feel happy and content because of the new skills I've learned, or because I'm a good friend, not because I have the latest clothes or the newest coffee cup. Above all, I just want to feel content with what I have. How practical this goal is in the long run, I really don't know. And I'm not saying I will never declutter again. I'm saying I never want to declutter again. I want to be able to be in control of the things that I consume. I want to be in control of my wants and desires for things. I don't want that to come from outside, maybe jealousy or comparison to other people. I want it to very much be on a need basis. Of course, there are plenty of things that I've bought recently, things to go skiing. I've tried to be as sustainable as possible and tried to get everything secondhand and rent things. And of course, buying a lot of things for our house as sustainable and secondhand as possible. But there will be things that we have on our list that, we do want and that we do want to buy in the future. But thinking about those will just be a lot more mindful about how long we're going to use those things for. For example, I don't love this kitchen table, but instead of getting rid of it, we're gonna sand it down and make it just a nicer color, because I like the fact that it's round. I like the chairs. They just need a bit of recoloring, let's say. They're quite orange. And the same with our sideboard. We bought that specifically because we knew we were gonna upcycle it, we were gonna paint it. And those are the kind of things that we think about when we buy things now. So just because I'm deciding that I don't want to declutter ever again, doesn't mean that I don't still have things that I really need to work on. My desire to not want to doesn't outweigh the kind of practicalities of maybe needing to in the future, especially if we move house and we move back to the UK. There are lots of things to consider, but I just wanted to put it out there that it's my consumption that drives needing to declutter our home. And so I want to try and address that this year. I want to try and be really mindful about the things that we bring into our home, and maybe also try to sort out some of those mental challenges that I have that drove me to overconsume in the first place. So that's my intention. I'm trying to never declutter again. We'll see how practical that is. I am not saying that this is completely doable, of course. I'm just simply saying that this is what I want to try and do. And I would love to hear what you think about it. So let me know in the comments below. Big thank you to my patrons. You have really supported me this year and I've really appreciated it. I hope you're enjoying the extra content. If you would like to see more content, I post Patreon videos every other Wednesday, as well as other things as well. So if you're interested in more content, please check that out. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.